Today's video was going to be a realistic morning routine. However, that is still, I can't edit it yet because the Wi-Fi was meant to be fixed today, but apparently it's a bigger issue than it was, and now I've got to wait until Monday. But I promised a video before Sunday, so here we are. I'm going to talk about something I've mentioned before: financial responsibility, depression, poor mental health, and antidepressants, and just like the whole combination that can be. Quick disclaimer before we begin: this is my personal experience. I'm not a professional, and you might not have felt the same way, even if you are in the same situation as me. But this is I'm just gonna say it the way I've seen it, and hopefully someone else can relate. And I don't know, hopefully it gives you a better insight into, I don't know, something. So I think I'll start with the depression and suicidal thoughts aspect of things, where I feel like you reach the point that money doesn't really hold value anymore. Where like you're planning the end anyway, and it's like you don't really care if you got a lot of savings left over. So I think it's easy to waste money in that aspect because what's the point in saving it when you're counting down the days until there's no more days? And then I'm not diagnosed with anything, but I'm peer assessed, I'll say, with autism by a few good friends of mine who are diagnosed with autism, and I'm currently being tested for ADHD. So again, I've heard many things about financial irresponsibility being linked to ADHD and autism. So I do think that's worth mentioning. And then the final aspect, really, of this is antidepressants. Well, I've found that I'm on Prozac, since being on the antidepressants, I have had less control over impulse purchases. Where in the past I would maybe think, oh, I'd love to buy that, and then I might spin a wheel. I'd just be like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna buy that. And I think what really brought that home to me is I've just come back from a weekend away where I forgot to bring my medication with me. I said to my mother in the morning, hey mum, can you put my tablets in your bag? And she was like, I think it's actually better if you put them in your bag. So I put them in my pocket, in my hoodie that I was wearing, as I just wandered around the house that morning. And I went upstairs, hung that hoodie on my door because it was not going with me, and my tablet stayed in that hoodie all weekend. I did not bring them. I remembered when we got to our destination, which is approximately 3 hours away from where I live, that I hadn't brought them. And the whole weekend, I was like perfectly financially responsible. I like no even consideration of impulse purchases. And then the second I was back on the meds, I was out spending money. I don't know if anyone knows this shop Kenji, but I have a slight obsession with the frog Oppie. I love this little guy. Now, this thing does genuinely benefit me. It's a neck pillow that I use as a piercing pillow because I do keep getting piercings. And that is actually another one. I feel like you can develop unhealthy coping mechanisms. So, like, obviously, self-harming people with depression. I have been clean for about 2 weeks now, but I do. It's safe because, the needles are sterilized and I will never get pierced with a gun. But it is kind of a coping mechanism that I'll go and get a piercing, and it's like I enjoy the pain, and then I've got the shinies, and just always fun. And unfortunately, I have for the entire month of April been banned by my parents from getting more piercings, which is kind of sad because I wanted to get my seconds and thirds done on my left ear so they can match my right ear. But apparently, no piercings in April, so that's gonna wait until May. I mean, I only have 9 piercings so far. I feel like I need at least 20 more. Honestly, when I've like completed all the piercings I'm really looking at getting, I will give you guys a piercing tour because I love that I can customize my face. It's great. But yeah, I think there are quite a few factors that contribute to financial irresponsibility when you have poor mental health, and those are the ones I've noticed. So dealing with that is an interesting one. I mean, I've said I'm going to set up like a second account on my banking app where I can just put savings in. Like, I'm not going to touch that money at all. I'm just going to save and grow interest. And I don't know, that'll be money as though when I move out. I've not really decided what to do with it. And I'm also, it's currently only a beta, so you can download it for testing, but I've been recommended by my friend Connor with two ends um, to get this app called Rule, where you look after a little squirrel in the forest, and I've only been on there for a month. It's not a month even, sorry, a week. I no time, trust. And you answer your budget, you like tell it what's wants and needs, so you've got a better idea of what you're spending on. And overall I think it's pretty good. So like if you're someone in a similar situation, I'd highly recommend. It's called Rule. I think you should just be able to find it by searching that. And I have found it really beneficial. You can also support the developers if you are so inclined to do so, because I do think they're doing a really good job. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions about what I've said here, and I'll respond or I'll address it in a YouTube short. Just let me know. I think more than anything with a video like this, I want to create a community where we can help one another. And currently there are 6 of us in that community, and I do know all of you in person. But hey, we'll grow and we'll learn together. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.